Let's talk about Phantom of the Opera movies. I was going to give a whole long explanation about how I felt like I'd been deceiving people into thinking that I was a Jane Eyre freak, and although I love Jane Eyre in the book and the movies and stuff, I'm actually way more of a Phantom fan and have been for a much longer time, and have seen and read and done all these different things. But I'm just going to can all that and say simply, I don't think this channel would be a very good representation of me if I don't talk about Phantom of the Opera. And also, I have been asked, which version is my favorite? Which one do I recommend? And, well, my recommendation depends on who you are and what I think you're looking for and what you can handle. There are some really bad Phantom of the Opera movies out there. And as far as not being able to say what my own single favorite is, well, that shouldn't be a big surprise because I can't say what my favorite Jane Eyre is. And I've been spilling my guts about what I think about those for over 8 months now. So, instead, I'm going to talk about the 4 Phantom films that I watched the most, that I like the most, that I would probably recommend the most. First, The Phantom of the Opera. The 1943 one starring Claude Rains, Susanna Foster, Nelson Eddy. There are things about this version that I don't like. The silly bumbling around of Christine's 2 suitors, the policeman and the singer, is ridiculous. The comic relief is just corny and absurd. It goes on too much, and it's like, I don't care about this stupid little love triangle here. I want to know more about what's going on with the Phantom. There's that, and sometimes the opera scenes go on a little bit too long, but it's a lush 1940s musical. What do you expect? What I love the most about this movie is Claude Rains. I love Claude Rains anyway, and I love it when an actor I love plays a role that I love. As the Phantom, yes, Claude Rains is kind of short for the role, and he's a little too fatherly, maybe, and he doesn't sing at all, but it doesn't matter because he's just so himself, and if you like him, then you're gonna like his portrayal, right? And when he gets all so upset about his music being stolen, and he's just like, you stole my music! It's so great, and him hacking away at the chandelier with like a little handsaw, playing that song on the piano. It's a great moment leading up to the unmasking. I don't care really if the whole movie is kind of bizarre, you know, they throw Franz Liszt in there, and why? Because I just enjoy the whole spectacle of it all so much, and Claude Rains doing his Claude Rains thing. Next one, the 25th anniversary concert version of the Phantom of the Opera musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I can hem and haw all I want about what's canon and what's not, but I'd be lying if I denied the fact that the musical was probably the thing that got me hooked. Now, it was the 2004 version, and I feel like I have outgrown that movie. There are things about it that I never liked, and things about it that I have gradually come to not prefer, especially when I've seen the stage show, bootlegs, and live, how they do that, and realize, oh, I actually prefer this a whole lot more, and so I would much rather watch the 25th anniversary concert, even with the changes that they made for putting it on in the Royal Albert Hall. It is still a very close facsimile of the stage version, which I love so much. When I have a craving to watch something Phantom, this concert is most likely what I'm going to go for, unless I just watched it. Because it is so exciting, it is so alive, vibrant. Even though they are not my favorite performers, they do a great job and they just suck you in. I sit there and I'm like, I can't wait for this part. Oh, I can't wait for that part. Oh, this part again. I forgot how much I love this. I just become a 16-year-old fangirl all over again, and I remember the experience of going to see it live and how awesome those times were, and it is so much fun. And now for something completely different, The Phantom of the Opera, 1925, starring Lon Chaney Sr., Mary Philbin, and Norman Kerry. This is the silent version. It's probably the most well-known version except for the musical. I think I saw the unmasking scene when I was a little kid, and it just was so scary. For a long time, I was like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. It's too scary. Lon Chaney is a legend. This is one of his most famous roles, and it's probably one of the most faithful adaptations. It's got the face-like mask, Scorpion and the Grasshopper. It's got the Persian, Faust, Philippe and the Siren. It has the torture chamber. And then there's that one masked ball sequence, which is shot in color, whereas the rest of the movie is black and white, or the monochromatic filter tones, whatever that's called. To a certain point, it follows the book so well. The certain point is the ending, which is just like this tacked on, hurried thing that just turns into a mob scene and is really disappointing. But the rest of it is just so good that I tend to forget how not impressive the ending is. And a few years ago, Carl Davis wrote a score for the movie, and it is so awesome. I love it. I love the Phantom's violin theme and the Lair theme, and it does the whole Faust thing, and so definitely if you're gonna watch this version, watch it with the Carl Davis score. This movie is a movie fan essential. It is a Phantom fan essential. So if you are either of those things, you should watch it. And from the most faithful to the least faithful, The Phantom of the Opera, starring Charles Dance and Terry Polo and Burt Lancaster? What is he doing there? This one is from 1990, TV miniseries. I think that I saw it before my obsession started, so I've been familiar with it for a long time. Plot-wise, it is based on the Yeston and Coppet musical, so if you're familiar with that, then you know what you're going to get here. So many things are changed that it's kind of hard to talk about without going into detail. And yes, a lot of the changes I don't care for. But when I think about this version, I don't think about those things. I think about what I do like. I really enjoy Charles Dance as Eric because he he brings a lot of humor, very dry humor, to the role, and yet also a lot of feeling. He's very sympathetic and yet also very threatening. Although you kind of feel like he's more liable to pull a prank on someone than to kill them. I also enjoy watching the workings behind the stage of the Paris Opera and what things would have been like and rehearsals. But hands down, my favorite part of this is the Faust scene. This scene might just be my favorite scene in any Phantom of the Opera movie. Eric is languishing and sick in the basement of the opera house, and Christine goes on as Marguerite, and he hears her voice, and he starts making his way up to box 5. They finally are reaching the climax of the opera. It's the prison scene. You've got Marguerite and Faust and Mephistopheles, and Eric appears in the box and she starts singing to him, and it's that trio. And Eric starts singing Faust's part over Faust, and the guy's just like, okay, I'm gonna back out here. And they're all singing together, and it's just like, oh my goodness, yes! A Phantom who was actually singing. I know that Charles Dance was dubbed for this, but I don't care, because it's just, it's so awesome. And then everyone applauds, and you're just like, yes, this is what I always wanted to have happen. This is like the fantasy scene that, like, they get to perform together. Yay! And it's Faust, and I love Faust, and yeah. So, there you have it. Those are my 4 favorite Phantom films. If you are also a Phantom fan, feel free to comment and say what you think about these movies. If you have a personal favorite that I did not mention, go ahead. Maybe I also love it and I just didn't mention it here because, come on, this video is long enough already, isn't it?